Hey, it's Adrian, and I've been using the S24 Ultra and really enjoying the AI functionality and 5x optical zoom. Now, before that, I was using the S23 Ultra and I was super happy with it, but I think this offers enough meaningful changes to upgrade from the S23 Ultra. So let's get into that and you can decide if you agree or not. The design of both of these phones is so similar that once you put a case on here, probably no one is going to be able to tell which phone is which. However, the S24 Ultra does now offer a flat screen instead of the curved screen found on the S23 Ultra. And that's something I really love. Like for me, that's probably enough of a reason to upgrade. It's just a better hand feel overall. Even though maybe ergonomically more people would prefer the curved screen on the S23 Ultra, I just love the look and feel of a flat screen. Outside of the flat screen, we also have a titanium frame that feels slightly more grippable than the aluminum frame. And we also have a full-size speaker cutout instead of a grill. The specs have also been upgraded on the S24 Ultra. So we have a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 versus the Gen 2 on the S23 Ultra. There's also an Adreno 750 versus an Adreno 740 on the S23 Ultra. We also have Corning Gorilla Armor, which is much better in terms of anti-reflectiveness than on the S23 Ultra's Corning Victus 2. And of course, the biggest and most controversial change is that we have a 5x optical zoom on the S24 Ultra at 50 megapixels. And on the S23 Ultra, we have a 10x optical zoom at 10 megapixels. And when I first heard those rumors, I was a bit disappointed, but after using the S24 Ultra, I'm no longer disappointed, but I'll get into that later. The brightness on both of these phones is plenty bright for indoor use. However, the S23 Ultra comes in at 1750 nits peak brightness versus 2600 peak brightness on the S24 Ultra. So if you're someone who's frequently out during the daytime, or you film a lot outside, or you kind of use your phone for a vlog in sunny weather, the S24 Ultra definitely has the edge. Now, a lot of people have commented about the anti-reflective nature of the screen on the S24 Ultra. And of course, when I go into the phone, you can see that is a lot of reflection going on the S23 Ultra. And of course, both screens are plenty fluid thanks to the 120 Hz refresh rate. They're very fast, very vivid. Although I did notice a little bit of a color cast on the S24 Ultra, which Samsung did say that they're going to look into later. But let's talk about the AI component of the S24 Ultra. And this is the feature that I really didn't think that I was going to find much value in. When they first started advertising it as an AI phone, I thought it was going to be a little bit of a gimmick, if I'm being honest, because a lot of companies just try to add on like an AI component. Now, those AI features are supposed to come to the S23 later, but if you want to experience them right away, you have to get it on the S24 Ultra. But here's a demo of some of those AI features and some of the hits and misses. The generative video frame is a pretty cool idea. So you can see you could just tap on a video and it just slows it down. But it's a temporary edit. You actually have to click on the pencil icon and go into adjust speed to edit it. But here's a full demo of that. I'm now going to put the S24 Ultra through a pretty challenging test. So I'm going to start the stopwatch. And you could see there's actually two hands there and they're moving so fast you can't really tell. Now I'm just gonna let that go and I'm gonna take a video with the S24 Ultra. So I'm just gonna review this video. I'm gonna tap on the pencil icon and I'm gonna go to adjust speed and I'm gonna put this at 1/8 speed and let's play that and see exactly how it handles it. And you can see the hands have now slowed down dramatically. Circle to search is definitely one of my favorite features on here, but it was a bit hit and miss with something that I didn't think it should be, because anytime I had text in an image, sometimes it would pick the text out clearly, but other times it would completely mess the text up, and that should be something fairly simple. By the way, here's a quick translation tip. So just take a photo of something and then just long press on the text like so, and then go ahead and hit translate, and you can see it says free dedicated access. And the translation here says lane for passengers with free passes. So fairly accurate, just to get you around. Here's an image I took on my S23 Ultra. What I can do is tap on the pencil icon, then I can tap on this, more area here, and I can go into face effects. And from here, I can actually adjust the smoothness of my skin, actually go in, adjust my jawline. I can give myself like anime eyes. Really, you have a ton of options on here. Now, what you can also do is just when you're on here, you can just swipe up, go into remaster, and the phone's just gonna think about it and then give you a proposed new look. So here's the before and then the after. Now I definitely still prefer the before, and then you could just zoom in to see kind of like what that's gonna look like. But you can also go ahead and add background blur after the fact. So it's just gonna add it here. You can see it's on level 5, and then you could just go ahead completely blow the background out. So here's a shot I took. I don't really like having the car in the foreground here. So what I can do is tap on the pencil icon, then go ahead and tap on the AI feature. And then I'm just gonna tap and hold till it selects the car, and then click on this erase icon here, and then go to generate. And what the phone is gonna do is it's just gonna intelligently fill in the area that the car occupied. Now this is a bit hit and miss. Sometimes it does a fantastic job at it, and other times it fills it in with, kind of weird and strange things. And you can see it's done a fairly good job. I mean, just at first glance, if I didn't know there was a car there before, I wouldn't really think there was anything off about this image. So here's an example of where the generative fill sometimes acts a bit strange. So I'm gonna go tap on the AI icon here. And I'm gonna say I wanna remove this set of chairs here in the foreground and then the set of chairs here as well. So I'm gonna go ahead, hit erase here and do the generative fill. And basically I just wanna have, a wide open space without any type of chairs in there anywhere. But let's see what it comes up with, because it's been just replacing it with other chairs. So you can see here we have some other chairs. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit open, but here before and after. So yeah, it's a bit hit and miss. It would be good if we could actually have some kind of text prompt where we can explain the type of effect or look we're going for. But it's not bad for a first iteration. Here's an image I took on my S23 Ultra using the 10x optical zoom. I was a bit slow, and by the time I got the plane in focus, it was close to the building. But on the S24 Ultra, I could play with that a bit. So I'll go into edit, tap on the AI icon, I'll grab the plane and I'll just move it over a little bit here, hit generate, and let's see what it comes up with. Now this isn't too challenging for it because it is a solid blue sky, so let's see how well it does. And here is the original and here is the remastered image. So you can see, in terms of composition, it looks much better with the plane further away. Then I'll just go ahead, hit done, save that as a copy. And of course we do have the icon down there letting everyone know that this image was altered, but I can always just erase that or just go ahead and crop that out and then just save it. So, there's easy ways to get around that. By the way, if you're finding this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing, but let's get back to it. I'm gonna demo the live interpreter feature. That's the most interesting to me when I go on vacation next. So I'm gonna tap on interpreter. I've set it to Chinese, arguably one of the hardest languages to learn according to most people. So I'll start the recording here, or the microphone.
一个男人正在会议上报告公司的销售业绩。他在报告时使用了哪两个图表？
A man is reporting on the company's sales performance at a meeting. Which two charts did he use in the report?
So that seems fairly accurate to me. I'm just going to reply back really quickly. He used the green and blue chart.
使用绿色和蓝色图表。
Okay, so I don't know how accurate that is, and I'm not sure if this is using, Google Translate or Samsung's own type of translate. But for, say, double confirmation, if it was using Samsung, I could go into Resense, scroll down here and copy the Mandarin. I could go into my Google Translate on the browser, paste that in, and I can see, yeah, that's what it's saying. Now, one other thing to notice is that with this interpreter feature, you can actually hit this toggle here and you can see it just flips the writing. So you're not handing the phone back and forth between you and the person you're speaking to. They can see it in real time. So, it's a well thought out. AI has also made the Notes app really handy to use. So I'm going to start a recording here and I'm just going to talk, kind of freely about nothing in specific, just to test it to see how accurate it is at picking up my voice and the content of what I'm speaking about. And this can come in handy if you're having a meeting or a conversation and you need to email a recap of that. So let me stop it right here, like so, and it's already recording fairly accurately at what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to tap on the AI icon. I can go into auto format and just say meeting notes, and it's just gonna kind of summarize that with bullet points, really handy. But what I can also do is go back into AI, go into summarize, and it's kind of summarizing exactly what I was talking about. Then the last thing, of course, that you may find handy is just to go ahead and translate that, and you could pick any type of language that you've downloaded. To see all of the AI enhancements, when you're in settings, you could tap on advanced features, advanced intelligence, and these are all the supported areas of the phone. So either real-time translation when you're having a call with someone speaking another language, with the Samsung keyboard, with the live interpreter, notes like I showed, the voice recorder, the Samsung Internet browser, and of course the photo editor, which I demoed. And of course, if you're privacy minded, you do have a toggle in the settings to perform the AI functionality locally and on your device. Of course, it's going to be limited, but again, you shouldn't have to pay any fees since it's being processed on the device. So you can see from those AI demonstrations that Samsung has done a really good job. It's a good first effort, and I'm glad they didn't go overboard. They've picked a couple of key areas on the phone where they can kind of, stably or predictably control the outcome of how well the AI performs. So let's talk about the new 5x optical zoom on the S24 Ultra compared to the 10x optical on the S23 Ultra. Since we now have a 50 megapixel 5x optical lens on here versus a 10 megapixel 10x optical, we have so much room to just crop in with 50 megapixels, and the results of the 10x digital crop, for me, it feels better than on the 10x optical with 10 megapixels on the S23 Ultra. And you can see in these sequence of photos, the text seems a little bit sharper, a little bit clearer, even with the digital crop. So if that was one of your main reservations, like it was for me, it's not an issue at all. The focal range on the S24 Ultra is also way better than on the S23 Ultra. So if you remember from the S23 Ultra, maybe mid-year, they gave us the option to have a 2x between the 1x and the 3x on the S23 Ultra. So with the S24 Ultra, by default, you have the ultra wide, the 1x, 3x, 5x, and then 10x with the digital crop. But if you download the GoodLock app, you can also add in the 2x on here. So essentially you're getting ultra wide, 1x, 2x, 3x, 5x, 10x, way more versatility and just better photo quality. I know some of you may not agree with me on that the photo quality is better. Now, I took a look at both of these phones, and in some photos, yeah, they did kind of trade blows, but overall, it's just, a better looking photo on the S24 Ultra, at least in my eyes. The saturation seems better. The colors just seem a little bit deeper. It feels a little bit more washed out on the S23 Ultra. The S24 Ultra also takes the lead when it comes to video, because we can now switch between all 5 lenses when recording 4K video at 60 frames per second. The S23 Ultra does allow you to switch between the different lenses, but it's capped at 4K at 30 frames per second. Maybe that's not that big of a deal to you, but the other change is that on the S24 Ultra, when you're recording 8K at 30 frames per second, you can pick between the 1x lens or the 3x lens. However, on the S23 Ultra, if you're recording 8K at 30 frames per second, you're capped to the 1x lens. Outside of those changes, videos still look great on both phones. Stabilization seemed pretty much identical. Selfie performance is also great on both phones. I didn't see any meaningful upgrade on the S24 Ultra. The S24 Ultra also took the gaming crown when compared to the S23 Ultra thanks to that Adreno 750 and just enhanced or better thermal management. Because after playing games for about 30 minutes, I noticed that the S24 Ultra was on average about 1 to 3 degrees cooler than on the S23 Ultra. The S24 Ultra also had better frame rate, so on average it was about 2 to 6 frames per second higher. But that's not to say that the S23 Ultra is a bad performer at all, because it was still able to play the same games as the S24 Ultra on the highest settings. And running benchmarks in 3D Mark and Geekbench also confirmed the same findings I had when gaming. The S24 Ultra always finished the benchmarks earlier, and it had a higher score. Now, by the time of all the stress testing, I noticed that both phones were in and around the 40-degree mark, so they did get a little bit toasty when stress tested for about 20 minutes. Now, with the S24 Ultra, it's still better than the S23 Ultra, but the difference is not that much. I think it's about a 10% difference. Regardless, they're both phones where you can have, a full day of use, mixed use, a little bit of gaming, social media, productivity, emails, and you'll be good. Even though we have a modified speaker cutout on the S24 Ultra, I didn't notice any difference in the sound performance or max volume. But let's get back to my original question, which is, should you upgrade from the S23 Ultra to the S24 Ultra? And if I was to return the S24 Ultra, I would definitely feel like I'm missing out or losing out on the experience just being with the S23 Ultra for a couple of reasons. The main reason is having the 5x optical zoom. It's a focal length that I found myself using way more, and of course I still have the ability to go 10x with digital crop, and it still looks better, I think, than the 10x optical on it. The second thing is the flat screen just feels like I'm back at home. I come from a history of using phones with flat screens, the anti-reflective nature of it and just how it minimizes glare. It just looks way more premium than on the S23 Ultra. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my S24 Ultra. I'm just not sure if the titanium blue, the violet and the gray kind of look tempting to me. Let me know what you guys guys think. So let me know what you guys think of the S24 Ultra. Is it bringing enough changes to make you consider upgrading? And I also made a video on 25 tips that you can change on your 24 series of phone. I'll link that up here. And as always, if you found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing. It really does help me out a lot, and I'll see you in the next one soon.